Thank you for ordering this report. This is the Peace Dealer. Much appreciated for getting the Deluxe. And I hope you gain the utmost of quality from this Deluxe report. As we can see, you were born on the 26th, and so this gives your rising sign Aries quality and puts Jupiter right next to AC and Chiron. Happy Chiron return. I also have my Mars in Aries, and this actually makes you born on a full moon, which is truly what I am most excited about doing this reading. Sorry if I don't sound excited, but that's my cat moon. But I just love doing readings for Gemini. I think that's always awesome. And I look forward once again to interpreting this as properly as I can and should. So right off the bat, even though we know for a fact that you are the angelic spirit being, if we spell that out, angelic, Gemini, spirit, sun, being, mutable sign, we also know that you are an alien, specifically carrying forth the Neptunian vessel alien construct. I'm a Neptunian, Uranian, and Saturnian vessel alien, mainly Saturnian vessel. So I'm very familiar with what it means to have Neptune on the moon. We could read others' minds and auras, hypnotize others. I've literally done that before. Read psychically, deeply empathize, dance with devas, read other souls, and see their greatest potential, conjure illusions and fantasies, and assist the dying in crossing over, which seems pretty left field, right? To go from like dancing with devas to here, let me help you cross over. Neptune rules the astral realm, and so this is what allows us to astral project. Because this is the moon, we can receive insight from the astral realm, the dream realm, and through that, this is what lets us assist the dying in crossing over. I have this in Capricorn, however, so I sense and feel into this through physical sensations and just more of a body feel. You have this in Sagittarius, so you're going to sense into this retrograde Neptune aspect as a vision. And personally, I think, as a Gemini sun, I think it's better to have this in Sag than in Capricorn. There's still a bit of a clash in Sag, but it completes the Gemini vibe. Me having my sun in Gemini, but this Cap energy, it's difficult. It's like one cannot exist with the other. One has to function and the other has to defer to it. And it usually has to be Gemini. And like, I just want to be in my head all day and talk all the time. So to actually have to ground myself and feel into this, it's been a lot of discipline that's been needed concerning, dealing with this. And so I feel that having your moon in Sagittarius allows you real time to not only think, and what I mean by that is the Gemini vibration moves faster than Capricorn, I believe. So whereas Sagittarius can match with Gemini. So instead of having to slow your thoughts down so you can feel into the earth, which isn't bad, just inconvenient, you can actually vibrate. You actually are encouraged to vibrate at the Gemini vibration, and that vibration is now met with a vision. Everything you're thinking and communicating, you're also seeing and witnessing the meaning of, what you're saying and what that means, what you're thinking and what that means, what you're communicating and what you can show to others. And this is relative to having this vessel alien aspect, indicative of your ability to really see into the meaning and truth of whoever you're around. Remember, the moon allows you on Neptune to not only read others' minds and auras, but to also read souls. And the reading of souls here would be visions or insights that you pick up on, thus making more important Mercury's opposition here, because the sun would just make you aware of this, especially as you see words. Gemini sun, our magic is in words. Like we see words well, timing is different, but we see words in with magical experiences that lend to synchronicities and also, indicate the communication we're having real time with the universe through people, places, and things. It's Mercury, however, though, that will allow you to take everything you're aware of and process this with sheer brilliance and to be able to classify exactly what you're seeing so that you can communicate it. And Mercury's the magician, so you can also stimulate using your mind in an effort to actually express. If we think of the chain order, you're going to feel the emotions in the moon, and then you're going to process them with Mercury, and then boom, you're going to express them through your Gemini sun. So everything your Mercury is processing is what is true about the receptive meaning of experience that your soul is receptive to concerning the world around you. Because this 9th house Sag energy, which thankfully Sag rules, is granting you the philosophy of sight. And it allows you to form your beliefs based off of the receptive meaning and sight, third eye sight, that goes into what it is you see, into the meaning of. So I don't want to express this specifically just to physical sight, which would be more Taurus and the 5 senses, but more so third eye sight, applying your physical sight and coming into the spiritual meaning. This is definitely also going to highlight the 3rd, 9th house axis of this energy. Once again, being born on a full moon, giving forth the completion of ideas and philosophy, attitudes and beliefs, lower mind and higher mind, where your soul feels into the higher mind of experience, the higher philosophical nature, the bigger picture, and your mind and spirit are able to take that and process and express this in bite-sized chunks and ideas. So if you're feeling into the meaning of perhaps an abstract truth that has you feel that, life is meant to be lived altruistically instead of hedonistically, or that, I'm just trying to use a very vague or an abstract example. Let's say the philosophy or beliefs that your soul picks up is that maybe you see that it's right for people to get along. Maybe the overarching belief is we all need to unite and put our differences aside. Well, it's going to be your Gemini that now communicates, hey, this is what happens when we work together. This is how powerful we are together. Look at what you guys are doing together. Look at how you're stemming off of this belief you see, and then you're using the Gemini to break this down into ideas to now complete that sense of feeling. And this is important because we see the flow of direction. If this was Sun in Sagittarius and Moon in Gemini, you'd be taking these ideas and coming into an overarching expression of the meaning. So we're looking at the difference between deductive and inductive reasoning in a certain sense. And this will kind of lend perhaps a lot of your reasoning to be deductive in nature. But I don't want to pin it to that. It could be both inductive and deductive. But when I say deductive, I mean more so in a sense where, and I could be wrong here, but I could have it the other way around. But I think deductive is when you are starting with a belief and you're starting with a theory, and then you're breaking it down into what, how this could specifically play out. So that being said, much of how you personally tap into this opposition not only speaks of the intuitive divine nature of how you see the world around you, but also how you tap into God. The 9th house in astrology is the God house, but it also is going to represent more so how you shape your beliefs. For example, my 9th house is Capricorn. So, I do have Neptune and Uranus there too. So I'm willing to be abstract and unique in the way I believe in things. But Capricorn adds a more skeptical, realistic bent. So I'm a bit cynical in the way I form my beliefs. You're going to be more optimistic. And this isn't really in a sense of delusional optimism, as much as your soul can see the meaning of things. So this is going to naturally give you, or passionately give you, more confidence to be optimistic about what's possible, because you can see it. And Neptune is going to transcend the high peak experience of what you can see spiritually as well, so that you can once again communicate this. Because being a Gemini sun is one thing. Being a 3rd house Gemini sun is true to the archetype. And because the moon is opposite you, you carry the Libra soul signature, because you have a 180 degree plus soul signature before the king comes. So your spirit is truly the 3rd house Gemini that activates the true magic of Gemini. You as an angelic being. See, your title, ironically, is that of warrior or cardinal original, where if fixed sign ACs are kings and queens and mutable sign ACs are princes and princesses or magicians, then cardinal ACs are cardinal bishops or ranking officials. And so as an angelic being, you are the original warrior that expresses and defines the attitude of what people should think of things based on your receptivity to the meaning. This is important because we know Gemini answers the question what, Virgo answers the question how, Sagittarius answers what it means, drawing from Gemini, and then Pisces draws on Virgo and answers why things are how they are. So when we see your sun and moon, this opens up how you answer the question of the meaning of what things are. And let me say that again. You answer what you have, the understanding of the meaning of what things are pertain to what things are. So it's just a deeper extension of what you fulfill with Gemini. And this really goes in a lot to how magically you can apply this cause effect mutable sign energy and, very, very, very powerfully put yourself in a position to change the attitudes, beliefs, and minds of people. And not really in a deliberate way where it's like, oh, I'm going to change your mind by shoving my beliefs down your throat. It's just your skill. Like you provide people such an expert level of perception that this is going to really, open up a very, very, very important dynamic and level of perceptual understanding that stimulates people's minds in the right direction so that they're having an accurate understanding of what is as you understand the meaning of how things are what they are. This is where you not having any Pisces or Virgo stands to actually help you, because this frees up the possibilities to gain a deeper understanding of how things are and why things are. That being said, what is really going to constitute throughout this period the ultimate change in understanding of this is Neptune transiting your 12th. That is transcending your ability to really, deal with a very important sense of your unconscious beliefs relative, I would like to say, to how much you've personally grown throughout this period. And not just that, but also what you've been in a position to accomplish accordingly as well. So keep that in mind, because a lot of moving forward now, how we interpret this chart will have much to do with how we take this perceptual skill set you have and take action with it. And that's what leads us to your Aries rising. Your rising sign in Aries accordingly enables you to harness through your character this passionate, original, and warrior vibration. What lends very much to a lot of how we personally tap into this energy has much to do with, of course, the AC identity aspect and standing firm in who you are. And by AC identity aspect, I also do mean very accordingly the anchoring of this identity concerning the power that you represent. And so because your rising is in Aries, even though your spirit expresses itself as an angelic, magical being, and at the core of your soul, you are and have this transcendent creator fire goddess being, we tie this into you representing power. You are the power of Aries expressed forth through the angelic truth of your spirit, the angelic spirit of truth. And so we know that all of this mutable energy stems from Aries. But to be even more specific here, we know that your soul and your moon is directly tied to your identity. And so, and this is, I'm starting to notice this with alien constructs too, but this is actually also what I have in my chart, specifically from 9th to the AC. We don't see a double whammy in yours, but one connection is all that's needed. We see that your soul is connected directly to your AC. And why is this important? It means that your AC is an extension of your moon through which you express through your sun. This is fascinating. So you are one with your soul. And not everyone has this dynamic, because everyone is their soul. Like, everyone is one with their soul and their body and their spirit. However, for you to actually identify directly with your soul means that every action you take is from directly this moon in Sagittarius aspect. This makes this even more important. It's almost as if you're in the moon in Sag, and then you expressed the vision of this. You create, because Sagittarius is the creator. So your soul from the ethers created your identity as warrior in Aries, and then you express that attitude and idea of yourself through your Gemini sun as an angel, which is so very magical and so very powerful. So the second decan of Sagittarius is Mars. And it's also cool that you have Mars in the Mars decan in Aries. The third decan of Aries is Jupiter. So you have the second decan of Sagittarius, your moon, connecting with Aries as it's subruled by Mars, which rules Aries. And what does that trine? Directly your AC. This lets us know you have a direct link from your moon to your AC, meaning that the actions of your AC stem directly from the vision and the aim and also the position of your soul. This is what's gonna lend to this intuitive sense. See, now with Neptune here, if we want to bring sense to this, Aries is the cardinal action. It's me. Let's say someone walked up to me and said that, you know, I look like a retarded pigeon. And then I get angry with my Mars and Aries, and then I smack their face instinctually before I even think about, hey, I can get a battery charge, or hey, this isn't right. Ooh, I already smacked your face. I promise I'm not really violent like that, but you have Mars and Aries, you understand. So the smackething of the faceth is the Mars and Aries. And just that, you know, militant warrior, I'm not going to let you talk to me any type of way. You must accept the consequences, Aries energy. And then this is where you take things to a different level. You have 9th house Sag energy. So let's just say you had moon in Sagittarius. That means now the smacking of this person's face is guided by a feeling with which you can slap the face with optimal angle, so that you don't smack the face, you smack the face at the right angle to maximize the power of the smack on the face, so that the person questions calling you a retarded pigeon. If we now add Neptune here, okay, so I just wanted to show you why this is supreme here. So your moon in Sag is going to have you instinctually just feel, because you're not thinking about this real time, you're just smacking the face. So within seconds, your moon is feeling the optimal angle. Boom. As opposed to just smacking the face, bam, now you're winding back and you have this boom. You're smacking so optimally. You now, because you have great perception, you're increasing the power of your smack. Now, this is how amazing you are. You have Neptune on your moon. So the moon already gives you an intuitive ability unconsciously to aim your actions. Neptune is so supernaturally intuitive, you can smack this person's face with your eyes closed. So because, and so if moon's going to give you that, moon is intuitive enough to do it with your eyes closed, but Neptune for sure, you can close your eyes, not even see it, and smack that person's face with, and I know there's no Virgo, but with sheer precision and accuracy. And so you have the power of Aries and the perceptual aim of Sag. Because remember, Sagittarius shoots the bow and arrow. And so that's that aim needed so you hit the target. And that's the power of having Sagittarius trine Aries. It makes it so that it's harder to miss, and it aligns this sense of philosophy with one's identity so that they can see the meaning of their character and identity through their actions and what their actions mean. And this is how you can smack someone who steps to you wrong without even looking at them. You can be looking the other way and just move your hand and you get it. That's the intuitive direction of Neptune. Now, you're a very classy, compassionate woman. You wouldn't devolve into just smacking people willy-nilly unless they deserve it. But this is just an example, speaking of how your soul is supernaturally guided and intuitively led by this higher force. Magical, transcendent force. Okay. This now adds a divine element and quality to your soul as well. That now that the South Node is going over this will unlock the last level of talent and clairvoyant ability for you to harness just exactly that. We also want to take into account that, remember, this Gemini energy expresses in truth the passion of what you see. Fire is all about vision and seeing, and air is all about knowing. And this is why air partners with fire, because just because you see something doesn't mean you know it. For example, That's So Raven is a very classic example of this, where every day she sees a vision. And so she thinks she knows what she's seeing because she saw the vision. Only for most of the time, she didn't really know the full context of what she saw the vision in. And so she doesn't get it right all the time. And this is why, air can know that which, like air doesn't have to see to know. We just know. But sometimes air needs fire, or air works with fire because fire can show things to air that air knows but doesn't see. Like I can know, especially intuitively, the names of people in a basketball team. But then I can also be shown who they are. Like it's one thing to know something, it's another thing to see and experience it. And this is how air connects with fire. And this is how you gain the best of both worlds. Because everything that you know in truth of spirit, you see through your feelings. And to see through feelings is also a very controversial dynamic, because in most cases, you don't even have to really see it. It's just really more so a consequence of the visions your feelings inspire. If you think of it as split second insights and visions that you experience so fast that it may be more experienced as a thought instead of an actual vision, that Mercury instantly streamlines because we see it sub-ruled by Uranus, which is even more profound because it's trining 29 degrees Uranus. And 29 degrees of any planet is mastered, and very much so a huge deal. Even more so when we look at God of the Sky Uranus. especially in Libra, retrograde. So once again, the nature of your identity is directly tied to the magical essence of who you are at your core. We know that that's subruled by Mars, and so there is a Martian element to your identity. And seeing Zeus, Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, mutually be receptive to the moon, ruled by Jupiter, in Aries. Okay, so this is what's going to tie them both together in a light, indirect way, but still direct. So the moon is in Sag, all right, which in the decan ruled by Aries. And then it's trining Jupiter, which rules Sag, in the sign of Aries. So Jupiter being so close to your AC gives you a very contagious personality. And with Mars here, it's going to expand the active quality and power rather, with which you exert yourself. And this is what you're healing, because with Chiron on the AC, this is all about, in early childhood, you might even have been bullied, or at least healing the confidence and the self-esteem that goes into really confidently expressing yourself. So to see Jupiter and Chiron here, it's definitely going to be indicative of any, I don't want to say wounds, but a need to really express more individual independence and confidence. Chiron being in Aries right now is not only returning, but it's cool to see the double whammy where we have Chiron on your Mars and Mars on your Chiron. So as this retrogrades, you're going to be going over 2020 and 21, some of the most developmental growth concerning how much confidence you express. 1981 is going through the Pluto square with Cap and Libra, and you've already completed that. But you are going to be having all this Capricorn energy square Uranus in your chart, which is what leads us to Uranus. So we know that as an Aries rising, you do have Pluto and Libra. And so this Pluto Libran energy is going to oppose your rising in ways that juxtapose. Oh, you know what? I have to give you the Pluto shadow. In ways that juxtapose a sense of, as we'll read here, Pluto shadow aliens tend to form partnerships or marriages with individuals who take them into a sort of underworld experience. The Pluto shadow alien describes how he or she was swept off his or her feet, deftly courted and seduced. Once secured, in the underworld, the partner suits from worship to humiliation, seeking out the alien's vulnerabilities and often using knowledge of the same to destroy the alien's ego. So it doesn't really have to be that evil. I'm gonna be honest. And there's more here too, where it says, Pluto partners help the Plutonian shadow alien to confront the true nature of power, sex, death, resurrection. Basically, we're going to attract people who may want to take advantage of us. And this aspect applies to almost every aspect. So the way that we experience this is directly in partnerships with others. Pluto is going to bring an intense, because I also have Pluto in the 7th. I'm Taurus rising with Pluto and Scorpio. You're Aries rising with Pluto Libra. So what this does is it makes people hate us, or it makes people very obsessed with us, or it's like an extreme love or hate. Now, in Scorpio, it's going to get lovey, like extreme feelings. In Libra, it's less about love, and it's more so about what side of the scale Pluto stands on. Because the Pluto Libra aspect against Aries is extremely harsh and may kind of employ this pseudo social or scientific sense of classism or being classy to undermine the originality that you have. So you can definitely sense negativity as it comes from other people and how they may try and seductively or manipulatively take advantage of kindness or balance so that they can seek to control you or use you. Use is more Capricorn, so this would be more so coercion and influence. This is not a bad aspect. There's no such thing as good or bad aspects in astrology. So the same aspect is actually what's going to add an intensity and transformative quality for the boldness of passionate self you are, Aries, so that you not only transform people's behaviors and polish it with Pluto here, but with Uranus, you have unconventional, somewhat crazy connections with people. And it's really the eccentric nature of Uranus here that will bring out this quality in people, or this aspect in people. It actually could be an amazing thing, because this can attract true geniuses who are not only very powerful with social acuity, but can definitely make the most of an interaction, and now think outside the box and innovate things in ways that, normal or naturally minded people wouldn't do. To take things even further now, a lot of how you tap into this energy speaks a lot of the mastery of your Mercury in Gemini, because Mercury in Gemini is going to enable you to process information like a dual core processor, quickly and very smart. And now with the trine of Uranus, highly intelligently. If Mercury in Gemini is going to speak to the processing of information concerning the attitude of your ideas and the way you actually communicate things, and the skills that go into your hyper sense of intellectual processing of information, communication, and sorting out what is true. Uranus trines this in the 7th and applies all this third house truth directly to other people, innovating and making super genius the way you actually communicate to other people. So Mercury in the 3rd in Gemini is going to take the topic of hippopotamuses, and whereas Aquarius would be the source of knowledge. So if you had any Aquarius energy, this would be a very knowledgeable database of all about hippopotamuses, but you don't have it there and you don't need it at all. So let's just say you're just going off the flow with the Gemini, what you know personally about hippos, and how in your attitude about hippos. Okay. The moon will perhaps maybe feel into a deeper meaning about hippos, but this is where there's what you say about hippos with the 3rd house. And then if you're talking to me, Uranus in the 9th is going to personalize the standard message of hippos to me in a way that's unique. And so you never tell the same person the same thing. And that's the power of Libra and the genius of Uranus. First of all, 29 degrees Uranus in Libra is the mark of a super genius. And you're able to apply this super genius in the innovative ways you directly partner with people. Whether it's an actual partnership or whether you're just with them because you're crossing the street together. So to borrow on what I was saying before, Pluto opposite your AC and Uranus opposite your AC can really make very intense and unconventional the social dynamics you have with other people because of their reaction to this contagious and expansively originally raw sense of yourself. Chiron on the AC can perhaps make you be a bit hard on yourself if other people project on you that you're too intense or you're too weird, or this is common for air signs because to other elements, air signs are weirdos, where, to air signs, we're just in the know. And crazy people sound and look like, smart people sound and look like crazy people to dumb people. So to everyone else, air signs are crazy when we're really just smart. And so the Chiron aspect here, because of the boldness and because of the passion that you have, can actually intimidate certain people. And Chiron on your rising is healing. Now that you're returning, it's okay for me to be this bold. In fact, I'm confident being as bold as I can be. And I don't care if it's too fiery for people. Okay, your 7th house Libra knows how to balance classically and altruistically how much of you to be, and then how to express and translate that fire in innovative and intense ways that really have the person you're connecting with really examine how authentic they're being, for better or for worse. So as a result, what this serves to do is very, very, very powerfully put you in a position to, with Mercury in the 3rd, communicate to another person with such powerful merit that this, like I was using with the hippo example, is going to personalize very powerfully the message of hippos relative to me. And not just relative to me, but in a way that super powerfully, okay, puts me in a position to feel like I'm not being talked at, but talked to. And prepares you, okay, to take context clues in my conversations with other people and put yourself in a position to take that message of hippos, but personalize it relative to who I am in ways that only I can get. So it's like I could be wearing a hippo shirt, or you heard me listening to Limp Bizkit for some reason, and you're able to tie in this message of hippos with my listening of Limp Bizkit personally, which is genius, by the way. There's nothing normal about this. This is sheer genius. And this doesn't always have to be a wound, but there could be a fear of expressing Mars because of the opposition of Pluto, because of everything that Pluto is opposite gives an extreme reaction. So it's like, even as a Taurus rising, there's extreme sexual tension and this hidden sense of stuff that Scorpio doesn't express. So it's just tense that I can gain as a Taurus rising. It's opposite my Venus. So every time I kind of get in my Venus in Taurus, I can feel some Pluto Scorpio hatred or obsession. It's not a bad or good thing. It's just how this intent of energy is expressed intensely. So with Mars, your individual passionate raw action could be met with this extremeness of opposition that can sometimes undermine and maybe even add a sense of shame to you taking original action, which you should not feel shamed of at all. And so this is where now we step into the Cancer T-square. That is the core and if anything, source of this power. Now the source is going to be fixed signs like Leo, but the core 4th house of this is interesting because with Saturn and Capricorn, you've completed your Saturn return. So Venus in Cancer is the 2 of Cups, and Saturn and Venus is going to speak of the karmic lessons that go into this private expression of love. When it comes to pleasure for you, you're very serious about this. You're very serious about the sincerity that goes into the expression of emotions. As an angelic being too, you're not going to play games around sharing your feelings or establishing nurturing companionship with people you care about, especially as it portrays to the home. The 4th house aspect and quality of this is going to denote and suggest that you are a bit of a homebody. You have talent in real estate, but there's karmic authority over your home and ancestry. In fact, this is indicative of ancestral power that you inherit, not from your emotions, but more so psychic ability you inherit from your ancestry. that will be felt through emotions. However, this could also indicate private struggles and lessons through overcoming limitations that come from people in your private life or family. So we do know that Mercury connects very well with Uranus here to add a more genius application intelligently to how you express the brilliant mercurial messages that you're skilled in communicating. You're a very skilled communicator and thinker. We know that Jupiter on your rising gives you a contagious personality. You amplify and evolve and expand the power that has you cardinally act forward in the expression of your raw original personality. And we know that Pluto and Uranus further intensifies and innovates how you express that to other people. So it's the Cancer energy that's going to anchor this power in a very deepening understanding of this. And this is where Pluto can bring shame and Cancer can bring guilt, where Saturn and Cancer makes you feel guilty sometimes, or can influence, because nothing can make you do anything, or no one can make you do anything. But this is where, give or take, but this is where the Saturnian influence is going to influence a sense of guilt when this is not in balance for being selfish. Are you being selfish? No, you're being yourself. But Aries points towards the self. Libra points towards cooperation. And so Cancer is going to be in the middle of how much do I feel and care about myself versus how much do I feel and care towards the other side of this chart for other people. And Saturn can work with Libra to make you feel guilty for being all Jupiter and so self-absorbed or self-centered. And Pluto can make you feel shame for not wanting to cooperate. When, remember, we've already established, especially as a 0 degree North Node Sag, your rising draws meaning from your soul. And so you actually want to lead forward with yourself and balance how you authentically do so accordingly. And this is what's going to lead into this very powerful sense of making sure the integrity of how you feel privately balances with how classically you want to express the rawness of yourself towards others. And as such, Saturn also serves as a bodyguard and gate so that you don't let anyone you're not comfortable with in your home. But this is also going to make you very extremely critical and discerning about who you let inside. And so you could push people out if you don't really feel that sense of trust. As the 4th house will connect with your 8th house Scorpio of intimacy and 12th house of private divine experiences. We do see Mars fall in the 12th, but we're going to treat it as a whole signs in the equal signs. So it is falling in the 12th, but it is still a 1st house Mars. And it's sextiling your sun allows you to take cardinal action while communicating real time what you're aware of concerning the truth. So being the vice captain of your destiny group, even though this 0 degree North Node is going to move into 29 degree Scorpio, this still allows you, with a 4 degree orb, a keen level of awareness of the talents and skill set concerning your ability to communicate and manifest truth so that you can transform the meaning of experience and really develop a religion. I think this is this is now an inductive chain or deductive. I think inductive reasoning was what I wanted to say before, and your destiny operates on a more inductive or deductive train of thought where you're taking the resources of all the truth you know, the attitude and the ideas of the way you think. And the North Node in the 9th, 8th house is all about creating your own religion and way of life, seeing into a philosophy that is going to transform how you deal with other people because of how you communicate and show people the truth of what you believe. So this definitely keys us into a lot of how you personally streamline this full moon magic. Because remember, you are a magical being that identifies with cardinal power so that you can do with your magic. And this is how, as a magical being, you offer the gift of change and you complete people's intellectual understanding with the spiritual meaning necessary for them to see the meaning of what is true about any experience, person, or place at that given time. The quincunx that your Sagittarius, Moon, and Neptune make to Venus and Saturn are going to challenge how you can simultaneously see into meaning while feeling relevantly in the moment what is important to feel. Those feelings could eclipse the fire and dampen the fire you feel if you get too seriously in the heart of your emotions. Because that square, once again, to Aries and Libra can sometimes clash with what your heart desires privately versus the obligations you may have towards other people. But putting this in balance over time is only going to add to your power, thus making the challenges of the current oppositions in Capricorns and squares only more empowering and a test of integrity and character to flesh out the private sense of sincerity to this outer worldwide integrity. Something that, as Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are transiting your 10th house right now, serve and aim to not only express, but also to help establish 30 years worth of success and completion concerning the hard work that has gone in to the incredible manifestation of your career and legacy. So, with that being said, we see once again that you carry the vibration of amazing truth, the creator angel that expresses forth the magical spirit of truth originally as an Aries rising with full abundance and expansion of character to share forth the power of yourself and being accordingly with boldness and fervency. It is now through this bold expression that now that you've returned your Chiron, okay, your ability to very realistically, okay, heal into the confidence that goes into expressing yourself will also heal other people. So that when people see you embrace your insecurities regarding your character, or see that you don't even see it as an insecurity, you see it as a strength or a power, this is going to reflect on how other people may do this and indirectly and or directly heal them as a result. And if we take into the context that you are an angelic being, this makes a lot of sense given your service to humanity. You're definitely going to be responsible for leading the world in integrity and, as per destiny, showing relevant individuals the meaning of truth. Thank you so much once again for your patience and for ordering this report. You stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.